Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bigfoot and welcome back to another episode of my Transport Fever series here on White Valley. In today's episode we're going to go ahead and do quite a few different things. As we can see from an aerial point of view, we're it's just chaos right now today on this map in all honesty, so we are going to go ahead and try and deal with some of the chaos, but mainly continue to work on our, expansion, which is going ahead and creating a large, I've not got a name for it, I should come up with a project name definitely, but what it's going to be is it's essentially going to be a large project which connects up towns and provides a lot more delivery of cargo. That's really what I'm aiming for here. So in the last episode, a quick recap, we basically just got food moving from this Doncaster farm down to the Kendal food processing plant, and then that food being distributed over to the town of Doncaster. However, I didn't really forward plan this too great, and we do have another food processing plant down here which we are going to bring into the mix of things today, and we're also going to do a lot more planning as well for the future, because the good thing is I can speed a lot of this up, and what I mean by that is the infrastructure takes a long, and I mean a long time to build. We change that to high very quickly. I'm just going to do something useful in the background while I speak here. So it's really quite difficult for me to go ahead and get a lot done in an episode, but now I'm really going to start to skip forward a lot in individual episodes, just so I can go ahead and get more achieved really, because I do feel that as of recent we have, the progress has been a bit slower than I would have liked it to have been, and as well I don't want this series to go on for 100 episodes. I'm quite excited to start the new series, which that's going to take a lot of planning on my part, which I'll hopefully start to get to put some time into it quite shortly. But I mean, this series should at least run till at least episode 60. I'm reckoning in between 60 and 70 episodes this series will have in total. Anyways, let's go ahead and start to do some planning today. So, we're going to have to start off with freight stations, as we know, so we're going to go for nice and long freight stations. What I'm thinking is something like this, and if we make high speed, that would be fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in placeholders here. So we're going to have like a station here, which is fine. We'll maybe angle that a bit better. Nah, I tell you what, we'll leave that like that actually. So that's going to connect into here to our goods depot here in Doncaster, which is fine. Then from here what we're going to do is we're going to come down the river and we're going to try and connect up PrinceDobster today with food. That is vitally important. So in with PrinceDobster as well, we can take a look at the place. We've not really been in this valley in a long time, and as we go around all these towns again, I do want to go ahead and actually touch on the towns as well, to go ahead and try and improve them, because PrinceDobster, we've probably not touched the tram for example since we first made it, which as you can see, the town has very much outgrown the route, and I think it could be improved upon, so we'll see what we can do with this as well. Okay, while we're at it though, I do want to go ahead and try and get a station put in here. So what I'm thinking is it's going to need to be quite a large station, and I'm thinking we put it along the waterfront here, so we can go ahead and have an easy exit point out of town. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because the problem is with PrinceDobster, there's not actually a lot of flat land if you look at it from this point of view. It's really difficult to go ahead and get any other stations in here, especially a station that we need of this size. So having it down by the waterfront is good, and that means then we can have lines basically go back over the river and branch off. That's really my aim. So that will be easy enough to build. I'll go ahead and build that off camera. I'm just doing a lot of planning right now, to be honest. Then from here what we're going to have is we're probably going to try and have stops here possibly, and then again possibly down here as well. We've got a really good raw resource here in logs, which I'm sure some place would benefit from in and around this area. I'd also quite like to get more of this onto trains as well, so go ahead and upgrade this area. I think that would be super useful as well, so we can get brick exported to much more places, because as we can see the production here is incredibly low and it could be so much higher. In saying that, I'm not really at all sure why it's incredibly low right now, because of the fact the production here is super high. Unless we're also, I mean, we're not taking this stone elsewhere though, that's the thing, so It is strange indeed. Anyway, let me go ahead and ignore that for the time being. We will try and get that added in later on this episode as well. Okay, so let me go ahead and now start to think about this as well with connections going up the valleys here, because we've actually got more of a quarry here too, which we can connect up to. Then we've got all the way up at the top here a steel mill. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm just going to start to add in stations for a lot of these places, in all honesty, just in case we come... No, maybe we shouldn't, in all honesty. I'm just thinking we could use some planks here, but we also require getting steel to here as well. Which, to be fair, we only have logs, we don't even have steel. It's going to be difficult, but that's why we're building this mass network here, to be honest. We've also got a goods factory up here as well, but that could require plastic. In saying that, here though, we do have a plastic factory, so all we now need is stuff from a farm, which we do have a farm over here. So that works out quite nicely, but again, we're going to hit this maximum capacity quite quickly, I feel. So anyway, let's go ahead and get building, because I am talking too much rubbish. So the first thing I need to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and speed things up. So I'm going to basically build a connection into PrinceDobster, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so go ahead and fast forward a good 10 minutes now. Wow, the magic of editing, eh? It is really good to just be able to pass through that, because it did take a lot of time. It's more a lot of the signaling actually and doubling the track. Like, I'm getting back into modding right now, and I made 1 or 2 mods in the past. Not that they're actually public anymore because they broke, but I do want to try get into modding again. I mean, I'm very much I come from a games development background, so it makes sense, and I do understand how it all works, very much so. Different games though have different tools to support modding. Very much this game has a good, like, modding community, I guess you could say, and I think that there's 1 or 2 things I really like. For example, a mod where when you draw one track, it draws another right beside it, so you don't have to waste so much time doubling up track, and like underground tram stations, for example, so it can actually make undergrounds like efficient, for example. I think there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do, but signaling as well, that'd be a good one. When you're drawing the double tracks, have it signal every so on as well, because that would just make life much easier. Anyway, so that's us gone ahead and basically done what we needed to do. Now, what I've decided to do to actually speed this process up going forward is that I'm basically in between towns, I'm only just going ahead and adding double tracks. I'm not adding like quadruple tracks like I guess I've got over here, which this is a bit much. This is overkill, I've realised. So instead of that, basically before and after every junction or every station, I've got a big junction, as you can see here. So I mean, all these combinations allow you to go to any platform out of the 6 in the station, and then same at this other side. So that's what's taking me quite a bit of time. Same down here, so it makes life really easy with that regard, and it means that I can go ahead and have stations quite efficiently. But now we've got the infrastructure in place, let's go ahead and make the changes. So as we can see over here, things have been very effective since the last episode. Let's replay the simulation, and as we can see, we've got a very slow train coming up here. And in fact, it's so slow that I actually want to get rid of it. Because what we're going to do, I think, instead is, instead of having, and I might have mentioned this at the start of the episode, but instead of taking the raw food from Doncaster Farm and taking it down to the Kendall processing plant here, I'm actually going to take this raw food through here to Doncaster food processing plant, and then from there what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will start to take that apart. So that means this train is essentially just going to move halfway across the map, which is fine. But I'm going to need to add new trains which are going to run from Doncaster Exchange here over to the town of, well, just south of Doncaster, basically at the Doncaster food processing plant. Okay, so this train will need to stay though, because I still do need food to go from here to this processing plant to feed the town of Kendall, so that train will have to stay, so I am going to build another route. So we jump in here to our route master here and we get rid of these conditions. As you can see right now, we've got the 2 lines, one of them terminating here. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new line from here, which is going to run all the way down to here. And this is going to be G, and this is going to be... Oh, I mean, what is this? What is this? It is a livestock train, but it goes from like Kendall to... It's difficult, it really is difficult. Is it the Doncaster livestock? It is the Doncaster livestock, but I've already got the Doncaster livestock, I think. If we go ahead and name this Doncaster livestock for the time being, then that should be fine. Well, let me just double check. So I think I've got two. So this old one here is actually going to change to Kendall, just so I can distinguish them, which is fine. Right, okay, so that means now, and we're going to need probably 2 trains taking the amount of raw food from these 2 places, because as we can tell right now, the current train, well, does it fill up? That's a good question. I've got a feeling it will fill up to the brim, actually, which is good. So yeah, it fills up on grain, and then livestock wise, that's going to fill up no problem as well. Really takes quite a while actually for some of these wagons to fill up. The train is spending a lot of time just being stationary, which is crazy. I don't know if I like that. Anyway, that's off, and there's still so much more food to move, but I reckon the demand is about to drop quite a lot just with the change I'm about to make. Anyway, let's go ahead and get a new engine house built. We're going to go ahead and just have a engine house over here, so it's going to destroy another field, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but these things sometimes have to happen, and I've got a feeling I'm going to go for pretty much a similar train because we do have very similar requirements. It is a bit flatter, but there is still a hill when you get to the Doncaster end, which we are going to have to traverse with a train. So let's go ahead and build this. We're going to go for the RE6-6, just based on its tractive effort of a whopping 394, which is perfect. So we'll grab one of these. We'll go for a red one this time. Now, wagon wise, I'm having a lot of problems with wagons crashing. For example, if I'm to click on any of these tag, snip, Swiss wagons right now, the game would crash. There's also a few other ones down here as well, which are a bit sensitive as well. Not the box cars, but these ones here. Again, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce those, but I know which wagons are good, so I'm going to go with them. So we're going to use this for the grain, and again, I think we're basically going to base it off the train we've got here. So I must have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those, and let's stay with 8 of those. And then with regards to cattle, we have... Let me actually check the train here a second. If we jump into here... That's interesting. You do have other wagons on the back, but it doesn't actually show here, which is very, very odd. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we've got on the back is... Where are they? Is it these ones, the box cars? Yeah, we are using box cars to move the livestock, so I'm happy to do that. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that will give us 180, then 11, 12. So that should basically make the train quite even, and then if we go ahead and clone this vehicle, then that is perfect. So from that, we can now go ahead and pretty much get these trains onto the tracks. Fortunately, this game has already assigned platform 2, which was at the back of my mind already. So this is going to go into the Doncaster livestock, which is perfect. So that'll start to move livestock once demand is created. However, we're going to go ahead and move our current food train, which is the... Oh, I know why. I'm misreading. I'm totally misreading here. Yeah, definitely I'm misreading. That's me being silly. Ignore me there. So this train's now going to move actual location. I'm happy to keep the train. I'm just going to go ahead and change its stopping points. However we do that, we come into here. So we can go ahead and get rid of those waypoints. Then what I want to do, instead of Kendall Exchange, we're going to go from Upper Doncaster down here to Doncaster West, which is perfect. So now, as you can see, that'll run perfectly into platform 2, which is great. And then that means the trains will share the track for a while. Then when they come through here, one of them stops actually, the Doncaster food train. So what I think we'll do instead is we'll get this to use platform 6, I think. And yeah, that means that if we look at this view, the trains aren't going to get in the way of each other, which is perfect. Though interestingly, I don't know why this is jumping onto the one track here. That is an interesting one. Anyway, I'm going to play the simulation so that hopefully the trains sort themselves out. You've now lost your electric path. Yeah, you have. So if we turn you round the other way, and that's going to be your new electric path over there. So Doncaster's food for a while is going to be cut short, which is a shame. But it does need to happen. So if you continue on, you'll be able to actually start going from Doncaster West back up here to Upper Doncaster, our cargo terminal for Doncaster, and that works out perfectly. Voila, so that's that issue resolved. Now the next issue here is to do with the tracks, and I think I know why the issue is. We don't actually have a crossover point here. So if I go ahead and jump into this tunnel here, and I do that, and then if I go ahead and grab myself a signal and stick that signal there, does that resolve our issues? It does resolve our issues, wonderful. So that's that sorted, and that means we can go ahead and hopefully start to see a split here. Hopefully a lot of this starts to go to Doncaster way instead of Kendal, though I think that'll take a few moments to just get into action. Though while we're doing and waiting on that, we can actually start to go ahead and get a train going from here now over, or not there, sorry, Doncaster West from here where food is produced, and take that into the town of Doncaster, or PrinceDobster itself. Wowee, I'm having a mare. Right, okay, let's get this connected up. Let's go ahead and have two roads, and we can maybe spend a bit of time in PrinceDobster now as well, actually. I think that'd be a really good idea. So let's go ahead and see what train we can get on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a engine house just over here to the side. So if we jump back into engine houses, again, I think I'm going to keep with the same trains for this part of the map. I mean, to be fair, this is actually a really flat line, so we might go with a locomotive which has got a different bit of speed. However, what I am thinking is that I'm obviously going to be bound by the speed of the individual wagons. So let's go ahead and see what we've got here. So this is 99 miles per hour, which isn't bad. They can go at 99 as well, so locomotive wise, yeah, the RE6-6 can only go at 87, so I think we're going to try go for something a little bit more expensive anyway. What about coming back to some of the classics? Class 103, you've not used one of these in forever, so, and you've still got a decent tractive effort as well actually, so that makes things even better. So yeah, let's go ahead and deploy that, and then wagon wise, let's go by freight again. And let's go ahead and get our trusted wagons on. Let's go ahead and it's all food this train, which is good. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to do 2 of these trains as well. And then we need to go ahead and actually create a route. That is a very important thing to do. So from here, Doncaster West, you're going to continue right through to PrinceDobster. So this is going to be PrinceDobster, and this is going to be the food train. And then if we go ahead and select the line for you, so G, PrinceDobster food, then we're good to go there. So that's that sorted. Are we starting to see the tides turn yet? Not yet, unfortunately, which is a real shame. I'll probably realise I've done something wrong if this doesn't update shortly, because it probably should be updating relatively soon. That train is left empty now, so I probably need to wait for a full loop. Actually, we're starting to see a bit of movement now, which is good. So there's 1 grain queuing and 1 livestock queuing, so that's a great start. Hopefully we'll see that take a bit better shape shortly. But that is this part done, which is good. So while we wait on that, we're going to go and touch on PrinceDobster like I said earlier on in the episode. So if we go back to ×1 speed, actual playable speed, the time's grown a lot, as we can see, and overall we are sitting at a population of 2,200. Part of the population is starting to go up the hill though, which is going to make my life a little bit logistically difficult. However, I think we're going to go ahead and change up the way the tram goes around town. So quite happy it comes down to this corner here. I think we might just go ahead and extend it maybe along here, for example, if we can do. I don't want to cause too much disruption though, because I'm very good at doing that and then breaking everything for good. Or should we just leave it as it is and build maybe a second tram? Or should we just leave the tram? What's the connectivity percentage here? 53. It's already at good, to be honest. So what I might honestly do, I think, is we will add maybe 1 or 2 new stops, but I'm not going to do anything really bad or anything like that. Let's go ahead and upgrade this road here. I don't want to destroy much housing though, that's the thing. So tram track, electric, yes, but bus lane knows what we're going to go for. So we're going to have the tram run along here. And then maybe come up here and then terminate round here, I think is probably our best bet. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we're just going to add a lot more trams in. So let me go ahead and jump into stops. Let's go ahead and add a stop in along here. Then let's add in a stop there, and that probably shall do the trick, to be honest. I think that'll work quite nicely. Right, okay, so that's wonderful. So now if we go ahead and exit out of all this and we go ahead and jump into our line manager. How profitable is the tram? That's one big question. We've only got 5 trams on this route. Crazy. I mean, it's profitable. Doing not too bad at all there. So I think this should be quite easy extension to do. So after stop 14, we go back to the drive at 15. Then we're going to come along to Church Lane and then up to York Road. So a very, very, very minor change there, but that should hopefully go ahead and provide some people with better connections. With regards to replacing the trams, I don't actually think I am going to replace the trams. What have we got here? Yeah, we've got Mirages. These are Mirages, am I right in saying? I think they are, yeah. I think I just need to add a lot more. I need to like double the fleet, to be honest. I think that would do, honestly, because we do have some waiting, yes, but it's not a drastic amount or a massive build-up, you know? So I don't think any larger trams are justified. I think I just need more trams at a better frequency. So if we get some more Mirages here, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and put these out onto the TR PrinceDobster. And there we go. So we were looking at about 93, 94 seconds with frequency. It's now down to 49. So hopefully that should make a difference and make things much more profitable going forward as well, which I'm quite excited about. Okay, so with that done, we can pretty much leave this town now. Quite happy with our solemn progress as of now. What I think we are going to go ahead and do is jump back over to this bricks area, because I want to try and get this eventually extended into our massive circuit around the map as well. While we're at it though, let's clear up this eyesore, because I don't really like seeing, especially on flat lands where old roads have been. So we can go ahead and get rid of that there, which is much better looking. Okay, so how are we going to go about this then? I'm thinking from here, we upgrade this train station, then we have a train track which comes along and tries to join up here at PrinceDobster, and we can also start moving that good instead of via truck. We could start moving that via train, which I think would be quite a good idea. Right now we've got we don't even have a tunnel through, we do have a tunnel through the mountain, I do apologise. So yeah, we can definitely go ahead and make this much more efficient and better. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. What platform right now is this going to be using? It's going to be using platform number... yeah, platform number 4. Interesting choice. I mean, it is sort of random. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and... I'll show you how complicated this is actually. So first of all, we need to get back across the river here, which is going to be exciting with the amount of tracks we need to get across the river. So... or I've got a better idea. Why don't we not have all the tracks actually merge at this end? Why don't we go ahead and... yeah, I've solved my problem already. Right, okay, let me go ahead and do that there and that into there, which works out perfectly. So now you can access platforms 3 through to 6 from there, though I do need to do a crossover in case trains need to change tracks. So as you can see, building all this on a bridge isn't always the easiest thing to do. But there we go, that works out nicely. So I'll add in more signals there shortly. And then what we're going to do is with the train coming from the direction of Doncaster, trains are not going to continue through, so that's why we've not got an output there. So that works so there just fine. Then what we're going to do is the line will probably split and go continue, I think, along the river basin, to be honest, and then I could probably loop back round to Telscom anyway. Actually, I've just seen an oil well over there. I mean, there's so many possibilities we can go ahead and do. If you've got some suggestion down below, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a line which comes across these roads here. And then it's just going to go right through the mountain like so. And then what I want it to do is honestly just come out there. And then we're going to go ahead and basically replace this station very shortly. So we can go ahead and double up this track. And going back to the mods I would like to see are, you know, assets, whatever you want to call them, in this game, doubling up track and signaling it. Because I'm now going to have to spend the next few minutes going ahead and signaling it. So really would make a difference. Right, let's jump back over here and let's see what we can do with this station. So right now, all is looking good here. We're going to go ahead and delete that and delete this. Like so. Now, this is going to be the challenge here. So, if we get our stations... Oh, what a time for an autosave. I mean, I really actually cannot complain. Autosave in the past few episodes has been saving my life, so I really can't complain at all. Right, okay. Large, let's go for... I don't know, it doesn't really matter to be honest. We can start with 3 here because this is going to be quite an extendable area. Then if we go for something like that, is this in sphere of influence? It is in sphere of influence, wonderful. Okay, so what I think I might do is I might get that train to come into platform 3 actually. Because this is just a single train which runs to and back and forth, so I'll get that train to now run into platform 3, just because it's going to be really difficult to get me an output from platform 3. Then what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and we'll curve that over to there, and then we'll have that curve into... Okay, maybe we won't. I've got a feeling it's going to have an issue here with the crossroad, isn't it? Tell you what we can do is we can actually have this come down to one track here, because I'm going to have a crossroads anyway with regards to if trains need to change tracks, so that works out fine. Maidstone actually gets served from here as well. I never knew Maidstone got given construction materials from here. So yeah, what we could always do is we could have a train coming through here, looping round, and then come round down to here where we could have a Maidstone. I mean, we really need to work on Maidstone. That's probably going to be next episode's objective, because not touch that place in forever. Plus, it does have a massive population, and it has so many logistical challenges, just the shape of it as well. And think about like the train station just about underground, for example, here. And the airport is now booming, and when I say booming, this airport is absolutely packed. This train station for the airport, it's also got like 50 people. The trams here do extremely well. That one's empty, bad example. But as we can see, we've got 10 people and 9 people, so this airport does a lot of good business now. It's crazy how it's changed over time. However, I do think that we need to go ahead and update it. I was talking to Billy Twister in the comments recently actually, and he was saying how he doesn't like this game as the towns grow too fast and you just can't keep on top of it, and I do relate 100%. One mod I should have had from really earlier on was having progression occur at a 4 times slower rate. That's a really popular mod, and I have used it previously, I think on the Scotland series, and I think that would have really benefited and added a lot more gameplay to this map. Interestingly, there's not been a lot of change, which has given me the indication that I've done something wrong, but I'll look at that in between this and the next episode, because if I have, I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, so we need to go ahead and do that connection. I mean, I'm at the stage now where I'm pretty much ready to wrap this up, and I'll go ahead and start to signal in between this and the next episode, then we can add some more trains in at the start of next episode. I think that's the best bet. One thing I do want to do then, just on a side note, is very quickly just touch on this airport then and the airplanes, because airplanes are doing remarkably well. Near enough every single one of them is, which is good. The only one that isn't doing good is, interestingly, HB, which is up here, which this airport's always done well. As we can see again, air travel has just taken off. It's doing really well these days. It's doing awful. And this goes to Kendall. That's interesting. So are like all these planes empty? Where's the logic? How is that negative? I mean, arguably I think it's maybe using a out-of-date plane which we don't really use anymore. So we've got the Lufthansa on here. Let me go ahead and see what we've got. So I think we also have a lot of people waiting. We have 15 people waiting as well. So the Lufthansa here, let's have a look. So this is the Boeing 737, so that's got a capacity of what, 21? Which is really strange. High running costs, it's got a running cost of $1 million a year, so it's not drastically high. We could go ahead and change up the type of plane though, that's something we could do. Though again, I don't want to downgrade too much. Though I feel that would be too big an upgrade. What I need is a passenger plane which has a capacity of like around about 21. See, 31 wouldn't be too bad. That's just a bigger Lufthansa. It is actually the same type of plane supposedly. What about Airbus? So that's jumping up to 38. What about 31 here? I think we're going to upgrade to one of these. So we're just going to take the Spring Air one as a bit of a change. We're going to replace now and see if that makes any difference. Outside of that, everything else is profitable, which is good to see. I cannot believe the amount of people using this station here, but that all stems from the overpopulation of just the towns around here. Well, let's have a quick look as well at Doncaster from here as well, actually. So it just seems that all the planes are full. So I mean, Doncaster's a long way away. And it's maybe not, it's just quite a long journey to be honest. So we could always add an extra plane on here. I think that's probably what we would be best doing. Just because it's such a long journey, the plane frequency isn't that great. So what we'll do is we'll grab another one. And I mean, it's definitely not the plane because this route is doing really profitable with this type of plane. So if we go ahead and grab that and we set this to Doncaster HB, then that is perfect. With regards to Kendal Portishead, not all the planes are full, but we are very close. If we jump back over to... Actually, let's go up to Portishead. We've not been up this part of the map in a long time either. Actually, I take that back. We sort of have, but if we can see what's going on here, we've got a queue for quite a few different routes here actually. Arguably one of the bigger ones not being Kendal to Portishead, which is kind of interesting. We'll leave it for now, to be honest. I think in general air travel is doing much better than it once was, which is great. I think it's just individual towns connectivity I really need to go ahead and adjust and really see what I can do with it. But again, it's not a 2-second finish if you understand what I'm saying. Looks like here, I mean, we can do with train upgrades all over the map, I think. And that's what I'll go ahead and do now off camera. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this series, or this episode. I feel I've got my words muddled up multiple times today. Go ahead and leave a like, rate, and subscribe if you are new around here. Go ahead and go down into that description. Go ahead and give me some of your thoughts and your feedback. I'm thinking if you go ahead and check out my Twitter and my Patreon and my Discord, then you can go ahead and share your thoughts with me much more easily. And that's pretty much it for this video, so hope you have enjoyed. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.